The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Plain white envelope, no return address, my name scrawled across the front in messy handwriting. Weird.
Inside, a single card. Thick black paper, silver lettering shimmered under my desk lamp. Professor Hootley's challenge, midnight, old wing, be there.
A shiver ran down my spine. Professor Hootley, the eccentric history professor who disappeared years ago. The old wing, sealed shut ever since. What was this? Some kind of sick joke?
My friends and I gathered later, huddled around the card. Excitement mixed with fear. We couldn't resist the intrigue.
Tonight we were playing Professor Hootley's game. Midnight. A cold wind howled around us as we approached the old wing. Boarded windows stared back like empty eyes. Goosebumps prickled my skin. The air felt heavy, charged with an unseen energy.
A crackling voice echoed from a speaker hidden above the old oak door. Professor Hootley's voice. Our blood ran cold.
He laid out the rules, his tone sharp, almost menacing. We were to find our way through the old wing, following clues he'd left behind. Success meant a prize beyond our wildest dreams. Failure? We didn't want to find out.
The heavy door creaked open, revealing a dark, gaping maw. Taking a deep breath, we stepped inside. The game had begun.
Dust hung thick in the air, catching the faint moonlight that filtered through cracks in the boarded windows. Each footstep echoed in the silence, raising goosebumps on my arms. The musty smell of decay filled our nostrils, making me feel like we were intruding on a tomb.
We moved cautiously, our flashlights cutting through the gloom. Cobwebs brushed our faces, thick and dusty. Portraits of stern-looking figures lined the walls, their eyes seeming to follow our every move.
Professor Hootley's clues were everywhere. Cryptic symbols scrawled on chalkboards, objects placed in seemingly random locations. Each discovery sent a fresh wave of chills down my spine.
We were being watched. I could feel it.
Deeper into the old wing we ventured, the silence becoming oppressive. A floorboard creaked beneath my foot, the sound amplified in the stillness.
Then I heard it. A soft whisper, barely audible, coming from the shadows at the end of the hallway. My heart pounded in my chest. I froze, straining to hear. Were my friends hearing it too? Or was it my imagination playing tricks on me?
The whisper came again, closer this time, sending a shiver down my spine. It was definitely real.
Did you hear that? I whispered, my voice trembling. My friends exchanged nervous glances. We were not alone in the old wing.
Section 5, The Vanishing Act.
The whispering grew louder, more insistent, as we cautiously made our way down the hallway.
We rounded a corner, our flashlights illuminating a grand staircase.
And that's when we realized 2 of our friends were gone.
Where are they?
Emily's voice shook with fear, her eyes wide with panic.
We searched frantically, our hearts pounding in our chests.
Had they wandered off, or had something more sinister happened?
The whispers seemed to mock us now, swirling around us in the darkness.
A cold dread settled in my stomach.
We were trapped in the old wing with something unknown, and our friends were gone.
Section 6, Panic and Suspicion.
Fear gnawed at the edges of our courage.
We argued, voices echoing in the silent building.
Accusations flew.
Had one of us played a cruel prank? Or was something truly sinister at play?
Every shadow seemed to writhe. Every creak of the floorboard set our hearts racing.
We were easy prey, our nerves frayed, our senses heightened.
We pressed on, each step fueled by a desperate hope that our friends were okay.
The whispering stopped.
An unsettling silence descended, broken only by our ragged breaths.
The air grew thick with tension, a palpable sense of dread pressing down on us.
We were being watched, hunted, but by whom?
Section 7, The Clock Tower Clue. We stumbled upon another clue in a dusty old classroom. A faded map of the school lay spread across a table, a single word scrawled on it in a shaky hand: clock tower.
A chill ran down my spine. What was Professor Hootley's obsession with the clock tower?
We exchanged nervous glances. The clock tower was the highest point in the old wing, notoriously off limits.
Legend had it that Professor Hootley had spent countless hours up there, conducting strange experiments. Was this the final test? The key to solving the mystery? With renewed determination, we navigated the treacherous hallways, our flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. The air grew colder as we climbed higher, the silence broken only by our own footsteps. Section 8. The final piece of the puzzle. The clock tower door creaked open, revealing a circular room bathed in the eerie glow of the moon. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the pale light, and then we saw them.
Our missing friends bound and gagged in a corner. Relief washed over me, followed by a surge of anger. Who would do such a thing?
Then we saw him. Standing by the window, silhouetted against the moonlight, was a figure in a long, flowing robe. Professor Hootley?
My blood ran cold. The figure turned and a triumphant grin spread across his face.
Congratulations, he rasped, his voice distorted. You've solved the mystery.
But something wasn't right. This didn't feel like the victory we'd imagined. Section 9. The truth revealed.
It's just a prank, guys.
The figure ripped off the hood, revealing the smirking face of our classmate, Jake. Relief, then anger flooded through me. He'd orchestrated this whole elaborate scheme, using Professor Hootley's legend to scare us. The whispers, the clues, the disappearances, all a carefully crafted act.
Jake reveled in our stunned silence, his laughter echoing in the old clock tower. He'd even rigged up the loudspeaker and the voice recordings, mimicking Professor Hootley's voice to perfection.
We untied our friends, their faces a mixture of relief and annoyance. Jake, our prankster extraordinaire, had outdone himself this time, but a part of me couldn't shake off the lingering unease. Something still didn't feel right. Section 10. The unanswered question. As we made our way out of the old wing, the first rays of dawn breaking through the boarded windows, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss.
The whispers had been real. I knew it, and the feeling of being watched, hunted, had been too intense to be faked. Then I remembered the eyes.
Throughout our terrifying ordeal, I'd felt a constant presence, a pair of unseen eyes following our every move. Eyes that didn't belong to any of us, eyes that didn't belong to Jake.
We left the old wing behind, the heavy oak door closing with a resounding thud. But the memory of those eyes lingered, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved.
Professor Hootley's game was over, but what or who had we truly encountered in the shadows of the old wing?